Hey folks, Kelly Indy Smith here and welcome to my video. So it's been a minute, but we're back talking about meds, and it's very interesting the way that, the release just came out and it's called meds, and then now I'm having this topic that I want to reason on, and all I could really think about as the title, if I were to say, is Medz. I did not plan it that way, but it's just like this is where like the cards are falling and this is how things are unwinding. And I think that's really beautiful that this is happening, everything's happening at the right time, and we are where we're supposed to be and all that good stuff. So today I want to talk about meds in the sense of what we allow to occupy our internal thoughts, what we allow to occupy our heart, what we focus ourselves on, what we allow our internal dialogue to be about, and all that stuff. So when I talk about meds, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about like meditations, but what are you about? Like what is your whole vibe about, if I would say it? What is your day-to-day essence about? What is always in your thoughts? Like if you were to keep tally of your internal thoughts, what would it be? So that's what I mean when I talk about meds. But just reflecting, I realized that there was a time where my meds was so low, my meds was so dark, my meds was so sinister, it was so um short-handed, that literally, like, it made me feel that my life was just not, it wasn't amounting to much. And during that stage, like, I felt like, like giving up on music. I felt like giving up on so much stuff and just being like, whatever, like, I'll just take life as it comes. And that came with, the my meds, that came with how I was thinking about life and thinking about myself. And it made me realize, and it has made me realize, that your meditation, what's in your thoughts, what you orient yourself with, it's like a motor to like your problems. Like it drives your problems, it creates I would say your problems. Whatever is in here, it creates whatever is out there. And we've heard that before. I'm not saying anything new here. I'm not the inventor of these reasonings. I am just bringing about it in a different way, that maybe if you've heard it before and you haven't understood, you haven't like internalized it, maybe now you could internalize it through me. And so there's this book, and it's taken from a scripture. It says, as a man thinketh. I think the person's name is Allen. I think it's James Allen. I'm not sure his name, but it's a really small book. As a man thinketh, so is he. And it's just talking about literally what you think is what you are. It's what you become. It's what you create for yourself. And you know when you look at things from that perspective, you become aware that you are not a victim. You're not a victim to whatever is happening on in your life. You're not a victim to the way like life has played out, because we all have cards that we were dealt in life, right? And we just have to figure out how we're going to play the game based on the cards that we're dealt. When you're young and stuff happens and whatnot, it's cool for a minute. And cool meaning that it's okay to like be that person where you're trying to like get, like, you're a cub basically, and you're trying to learn the ways of the wilderness. But when you get into like a lioness, when you get into a lion in the jungle, in the wilderness, you're not going to go and cower behind other people in the pride. If you're a lioness specifically, you have to go hunt for yourself. You have to protect your cubs. You have to like be that person, right? The same as the lion. Like, you can't go and hide behind another lion. Like, no, you have to be the lion and you have to defend your territory, right? And so I think of it in the same way as us using our meds and having to shift our meds when we become of a in a space of understanding. I won't even say age, because I don't think age is a proper representation of how much we know, and really like our wisdom and our spiritual maturity and our growth. I think age just signifies the amount of time that we've agreed on, that we've passed in this physical body. I think that's what age is. um and I'm not saying that as an excuse for people to do filthiness, burn filthiness, all types of it. I'm not saying that for an excuse for people to push agendas. But what I'm really getting at is the fact that, as this growing, as this maturing, there's no like, you know, set age really where you could say, okay, like now you could be a lioness or whatever. I think it's something where, based on how much you're aware and how much you grow and how much you've absorbed, how much you've been consciously aware, how much you've been learning and seeking and practicing, that's what I think really determines, how fast you develop into, that version of yourself and whatnot. And it's not even to say like how fast, like you're forcing it and you're rushing it, but just like bringing about a point. And so, even thinking of it, there's this song lyric that just came to mind. It says, it's by Stephen Marley. He says, the son is the father of the man. And it's just that thing where, again, sometimes, we go through certain stuff and we teach older people in the midst of it, but we probably raise people who are greater than us. And, that's all part of it. So that's what I really want to get into with that. But just bringing it back, that is determinant. I'm not sure if that's a word, but that's what I'm feeling in my spirit to say. It's determinant on our meds. Like, what is this about? What is our orientation about? Because if our orientation is based on that, we have this mentality, like this defeatist mentality, that all of this has happened to us, and you know woe us, that's what your life is going to be about. If you have this mentality that, all men are this way, all men are the same, all men are dogs and whatnot, you are going to be an unhappy woman. If you have this mentality that, like life is not ish and all you could do is free up yourself, enjoy yourself, like you are going to be living for a weekend. And I know I chose these particular examples because I feel like those are what people could relate to the most, but it's a whole bunch of things. It's a plethora of things, right? It's so many different intricacies with that, but it begins with our meds. I know for me, my meds used to be like rotten to the point that I was a chronic overthink. I could not have conversations with people because I would be thinking about the conversation that I'm having and not really listening to people. I would be misinterpreting things in my mind. I was so paranoid. And that's one of the main reasons I stopped smoking weed, and I had to stop smoking weed. But weed is just not for me. It would make me paranoid. It would ruin my meds. It would send my meds in all different places that I did not even know, I could not even follow. And the interesting thing about meds, my folks, is that if you really sit back and you observe your meds, you observe what your internal dialogue is, and you just allow it to go in and out, you allow it to just be there, you will realize, even over time, it might be months, it might be days, weeks, there might be parts of it and periods of it where it feels like you got this. There's periods of it where it feels like, oh, like things are going good. And most times you feel that way because you probably have a lot of friends around you, you have a lot of money, you've been going out more often, you have these new things and all of that. But then you realize when you get back into those areas in your meds where you're dissatisfied with how your life is, you have a problem with people, you have trust issues, you cannot heal, and you haven't healed from the stuff that happened in your past. When you get to those points, those good times can't even buttress that pain. It can't even buttress that kind of fall to allow you to at least have some hope. That's why some people, you see them and you might think they're fine, next thing you hear, they commit suicide. And you'll be like, I never knew. It's because of the meds. And I think a lot of it is when we root ourselves in things that are not real. Oh my gosh, folks. When you root yourself in something that is not real and that foundation falls open, that is devastating. Because you'll find that one time where you really need something, you need like that fix, and you don't get it because it was never really a fix to begin with, that's when it really hurts. And so today I want to encourage us to change our meds. Get deeper into your meds, evaluate your meds, question your meds. part of it also has to do with what do we consume, because our meds, it's kind of a push and pull effect. But what scripture tells us is not what you put in that defiles you, it's what you put out. We also, by not guarding our hearts, we allow things to get in that then comes out of us. But the interesting thing is that it starts with us. It starts with a choice with us to decide, what am I going to let in? So you cannot want to live, a better life. You cannot want to find peace. You cannot want life to be a certain way, but you're allowing the opposite inside. That does not work. And that's foolishness to think that that would work. You cannot be talking about peace and all your, or like you're still allowing like toxic drama, like stuff like that to be things that you look at every day. That does not work. It's kind of like a magnet. A magnet will attract something that it's like. So if you want peace and you have, the opposite end of the magnet, it's not going to connect. You're not going to find peace. And that's when it leaves us in this space of mediocrity where we feel like, life sucks. Life is so, like, don't get me wrong, life is hard. Life is hard. And when Chronic said, if you don't know hard life, then you don't know life yet. That is facts. Life is hard. But we have power, people. We always have choices. We always have options. We may not like them, but we have them. We have an option to switch our meds. And it's okay that you feel like no one gets you. It's okay that you feel like, left out. You feel like you don't have friends. I don't know who made us believe that we were supposed to have 5,000 people we connect with. Like, if that was the case, you probably cloned. If you could connect to 5,000 people and really connect, you're cloned. Because you know what it is? It's like, if it's rare, it's not going to be casual. If it's rare, it's not going to, like, you're not going to find many of it. Sometimes I feel like I'm on a hunt for, like, tribe. I feel like I'm hunting for my tribe at times. And I meet people and, they have a good vibe and whatnot. And it's only time for their meds to reveal itself. And then our meds, either it doesn't click, and that's okay, or it clicks and it's beautiful. But it wouldn't make sense where I know, the meds is showing me something, my meds is showing me something, this person's meds, through their action, through like just them showing themselves to me, it's showing me something, and I choose to ignore it because, whatever, I'm lonely, I want friends, I want clout, I want fame, I want to be in. We need to wake up, straighten our meds, fix our meds. It all starts in here. Yes, we have freedom of speech. How about freedom of meds? I've said enough.